Did you know that William Shakespeare used more than 20,000 words in his plays? And out of those, at least 1,700 are now attributed to him. That is, he is the originator of some of these words. I have with me Mr. Matthew George. He is the founder of the Wordplay section in the Week magazine, which he ran for
5-6 years, yeah.
5 or 6 years. So this is a very special episode for us. We're going to go over some of our favorite Shakespearean words and phrases and why we think they're interesting. To be honest, both of us got the same brief promotion, which was just two words, Shakespearean words.
I know.
And when we looked up this topic, what did you find when you were trying to search for interesting words?
I think the part is where they say that Shakespeare found a lot of words are attributed to Shakespeare, but then, like you said, we discussed earlier, it could have been used before, and then suddenly Shakespeare used them, and they became popular, so they got attributed to him. So there is always that. So perhaps there is some unknown person or entity. I know Shakespeare's source who has done this, but then, like all famous people, the limelight goes to him. Yeah.
That is a really interesting point. A lot of Shakespearean words that we attribute to him today, they were used by common people across England at the time, and he used them as his inspiration. It just happens that his was the only written record that we have. So to start with a few common words, I think when you search this topic, you'll often find that people say the word bedroom came from Shakespeare, and as well as the word downstairs and eyeball. I couldn't check for bedroom and downstairs, but I did see that eyeball was being used before Shakespeare.
Okay. Quite probable.
He just made it more popular.
Yeah.
Before Shakespeare, of course, there were no eyeballs. We just referred to it as pointy things.
Right. The other thing that we were saying is that he would have been a very rich man because Mukesh Ambani would have to pay him a hefty sum as royalty, because Reliance is supposedly a Shakespearean coinage.
Is it? So he used the word first.
He used the word first.
In the same meaning, like to have.
In the sense of dependence. In fact, rely plus and in that sense, as dependence. Now what we come to look at it sometimes as reliable, trustworthy, and not that sense. I think like mostly like an aid or a support or something that you depend on or lean on to. I think that perhaps was I think Timon of Athens, Reliance is actually the word he uses. Timon of Athens, he uses that word
like a noun.
Yeah.
So he has
Reliance is on his dates, is that what I think. So that is there. So then,
he owns Reliance.
He owns trademark goes to Shakespeare. So if Mukesh Ambani were to pay Shakespeare a cent or a paisa on every time.
I heard a similar thing about the word friend. So many centuries before Mark Zuckerberg made friending a verb, Shakespeare used friend as a verb. So it's not just like inventing words, it's using words in new ways that made it very popular.
Very true.
I think there was also a Calvin and Hobbes strip about this, where Calvin was just talking about how, if Shakespeare can do it, why can't he do it? And there was a strip where Calvin just started verbing nouns. So you just take a normal noun and you verb it. So like I would say, let's swiggy something or let's milkshake something. It's fair point. I mean, why not make our own words? It's our language, our rules. I wanted to explore this in a later Wordplay episode about how Indian English has been evolving.
True.
That would be
there is always that question, no? If mouse can be mice, then why not heis for house?
And we have once, twice, thrice. Why not fries?
Fries. That's a good one.
So when I was looking up Shakespearean words, there are some words that he would use then that in online parlance today have acquired different meaning. So one of them was the word anon. In a lot of plays, you'd see him use anon to mean soon.
Soon, yeah.
And today, in online forums, mostly 4chan, anon is short for anonymous, and it refers to a person who's posting on the internet anonymously.
Yeah.
Another Shakespearean word like that is base. Shakespeare uses it as an insult. Base means to be lower class, unworthy, illegitimate. But today, especially on 4chan, again, to say someone is based is to say they're somehow kind of woke, kind of more aware, It has a slightly alt-right usage, but based is more of a compliment today, I'd say.
No, but still you use base instincts or
Yeah.
that's still there.
You're
That's
more
like a
primal
remnant,
instincts.
of that usage. It's still there are base tastes and so on.
You still use it as an
It's still
insult.
used, but it's not in common usage. That is there. And then, for example, now that you said that words have been used in certain contexts and differently, skim milk, for example.
Skim milk.
Yeah, skim milk is used. Shakespeare has been that's I think reliably Shakespearean from Henry IV, I think.
So he invented skim milk.
Skim milk, but not in different contexts. I think he means weak or not the full thing. You
So
know,
he wouldn't go to a supermarket and be like, I
no,
would only have skim milk.
not vegan, not vegan skim milk, but in the sense that lacking something or weak.
Did he have almond milk as well?
No, I
Didn't
think
reach
not.
that far.
He might have been a really proper guy would be the full cream version for him, and then a weak guy who's
That
not.
was skim milk.
Skim milk.
So was there a usage like did he call someone you are a wretched skim milk or something?
No. Actually, he there's a description in Henry IV where he refers to a person as skim milk, and then I think it is about giving glory to this skim milk, which is you mentioned that is a weak guy, but for some reason giving glory of fame.
Insults, they can be quite devastating.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite ones are there. Another word I found, both of us found this word. It's the longest word he's used, I think. And just note that all these words had to be said in plays. You had to say them. So somebody had to actually say honorificabilitudinitatibus. And it's the plural, of course, of the medieval Latin word honorificabilitudinitas, which can be translated as the state of being able to achieve honors. So, I think today we would say he's a very awarded person. That is a person after he's got the honors. This is before you got the honors, you're deserving of an honor. You would be
honorificabilitudinitatibus. You're correct. It would be to be on stage and then to give the inflection, the right inflection, and to deliver it. That would require some level of expertise, and then. I think at some level, perhaps the audience used this word, was familiar with this word because, theatres like that, they should also understand what is being said.
I mean, I'm the kind of person who needs subtitles when I watch English shows on Netflix today. So I don't think I would understand an English play back in those days.
True.
To be honest, I had trouble understanding people's accents when I was in England. So it is a tricky language to hear.
It is.
So, interestingly, this long word is the second longest word in the Indian language that features only alternating consonants and vowels. The first longest word is, no surprises, honorificabilitudinitatibus, which has the same meaning. It's just slightly longer than this. So, Shakespeare didn't use that apparently.
Okay.
So, as we were saying, there are some words which he has turned into verbs. So, two of those are, we have be-maddling.
Be-maddling. Okay.
I think it means to make someone mad.
Okay.
And we have be-monster, which I quite like. Okay. So if someone is frowning, you can say, be-monster, not thy feature.
Yeah, that's true. Elbow, like you said, elbow is, he made a verb out of it, as...
Oh, so he's the one who invented elbow someone.
Elbow. Yes, the elbow was always there, but to elbow was... I think a Shakespearean thing.
So after him, it must have become a thing to knee someone, to head someone.
Possibly. I think, somewhere in English there's a usage, a grief ago. Not Shakespeare, but then that suddenly puts things in perspective. You can have a cigarette ago, samosa ago, whatever, a grief ago. I think Dylan Thomas is a grief ago. Yeah.
I think that's what people miss when they're trying to write these days. And that kind of creativity Shakespeare had to take what's existing and to just use it in new ways. You don't have to write the way everyone else has written. There's nothing stopping you from breaking the rule book a bit and creating new words. You never know that you might end up creating the next new word.
No, but like we said, about attributing things. For example, jealousy, the green-eyed monster. That's Shakespeare from Othello.
Oh, so he came up with the idea of green.
Yeah. I was thinking, why green? Because when you look at colors, you look at red for anger, seeing red and so on. feeling blue, so on. And then, since Shakespearean times, green has been this
Envy.
color of envy. Just by one usage in Othello, he just
I would have thought it was much older than that.
possibly,
The
quite
idea of
possibly,
envy, yeah.
quite possibly older than that. Like we said initially, it could have been somebody else who, and there could have been a very solid reason for that as well. And then Shakespeare takes it and uses it in this context, and then Othello is like one of his hits, and then it just takes off. Like you ask people about Shakespearean plays, they'll say Tempest, Othello, Romeo and Juliet. I mean, nobody talks about Coriolanus or Timon of Athens.
We will mostly say the ones we had to study in school.
Correct. That's
For me,
true.
it's
That's
Macbeth
true.
and Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar, yeah, true.
And in school, they really force you to go through the whole play. It hurts the appreciating it factor. But a few friends of mine did appreciate the insults.
Okay.
This was a time when people were starting to swear, and we found that a few Shakespearean insults would hit a bit harder.
No.
So I spurn thee like the cur that you are was something we used
Oh
to
yeah, that's like to cur that you are, like a dog that you are.
Much more than just saying you dog,
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't know if this will be edited, but calling someone a son of a bitch this is much more.
It hits,
seems visceral.
If
comes
someone
from
has
deep
put this
within,
much thought into the insult and delivered it to you,
Correct.
you do shrink on being hit.
Spurn you like the cur that you are. We did a play, Merchant of Venice, when I was in my final year. So for about after the practice and after the play was over, it was always fare thee well.
I hope this comes back. I mean, it would be nice to. It does hurt to think that even though we're arguably more civilized today, people back then were much more creative in their verbiage.
True.
Their vocabulary, I think verbiage is the word.
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true. The choice of words was perhaps much more better. I don't know if you'll agree to this, but sometimes people say that you look at music lyrics from then and now. Some people find it more expressive, profound than the current one.
A song like WAP couldn't have existed then.
No. Also, Shakespeare, apparently, there are people who think that Shakespeare took an easy route out, by prefixing "un" to a lot of things and then giving us, undress, so on. That should Shakespeare with his depth and with his knowledge, should he have tried for a different word instead of just
unning it.
Unning it.
But made it quite convenient for us. I mean, imagine
True.
if unable didn't exist, we would have to say I cannot able.
I cannot able.
Which is become a new usage.
Or unaware would have to be I am not aware.
So we wouldn't have we'd have the ited nations, not the
I
united nations.
I know. Oh, un.
Wait, so is un the opposite of? So if united is just un and ited, then ited must mean the opposite of united?
Possibly.
I should probably Google that. Do you have any other Shakespearean?
There is like phrases here. Phrases we look at, for example, from the Merry Wives of Windsor, laughing stock, still being widely used. Laughing stock is still being widely used. Pound of flesh, of course, Shylock and the Merchant of Venice, a pound of flesh part is still being used, especially when it comes to, even now with elections here and with politicians looking at it and with alliances, that ally is looking for his pound of flesh and this ally is looking for his pound of flesh, still being used. Wearing one's heart on one's sleeve, still widely used. Othello, still very widely used. Then perhaps it's Greek to me from Julius Caesar.
Oh, that's where
it's Greek to me. Still quite widely used. And from the Tempest, fair play. It's so widely used that we have.
It's odd to even say it's a
Shakespearean word anymore. It's when you say a Shakespearean word, you think of honorific abilitude or something like that. Fair play is we own it. I mean, it's ours kind of thing.
I think that was the surprising thing when researching this, that so many of his words were so simple. And I thought I would get these huge, big words, but it turns out those weren't words he invented. Those were the words of the time. A lot of simpler words were Shakespearean words.
So much so that so many Shakespearean, it still appears in pop culture, Shakespearean things. To think that something that's Victorian and so on to appear in pop culture. For example, there was this joke that, what is different between a Shakespearean play and a Donald Trump press conference. It's one is taming of the shrew, and the other is shaming of the true. You know, no, but to see that in 2020
The
when
references are still
Trump is
top.
going for election, you have something from Shakespeare coming to bite him in the bottom. It's
It never goes. I
inconceivable.
mean, even Shylock. I was trying to look up debt for one story.
Okay.
And I think it is noted in a book about how culturally we always treat the lender as the bad guy. And that has a great deal to do with Shylock. And when I was interviewing financial people who work in credit bureaus, they immediately mentioned Shylock as also being one of the sources for this aversion that comes about.
True.
And so I think that's the power of his work. We're still talking about it today, and
True.
it gives us a wordplay episode today.
I know. There's even slapstick humor. You know,
and puns. He was huge in puns.
There's this thing whether Shakespeare goes to a modern day art supply store, and then what does the shopkeeper ask him? To be or not to be? To be pencil or not to be? That slapstick, that's what I said, you know. It's just...
he would have gotten along with them.
I know.
He'll be quite the Instagram hit today, I think.
Quite. He would have been the hit. Because, you know, he would have coined something and then would have had quite the following. That's true.
Instantly, there was a news story a few years back about they excavated Shakespeare's backyard and they found a few pipes of weed.
Oh!
So I don't think they
smoke up. Oh,
I don't think they directly attributed to say whether he smoked it or not, but it was there in his backyard.
I know.
Must have helped.
That's his skeleton in the closet, possibly.
So that was it. That was our Shakespearean words episode today. We hope you learned a few. If you have any Shakespearean words or phrases you like, please do comment them below. And thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure, Varun. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Have a good one.